everyone. I decided that we should be doing a craft today. I think that a craft is a great idea for when the weather's not that great and when the kids are starting to get cooped up and maybe we want to work on some fine motor skills. So I decided on this craft because we can find all of the supplies all around the house and we can work on that creativity, we can work on those motor skills, and we can have fun with it while we're cooped up inside for this quarantine. So I'm Sydney and I'm going to be walking you through this fun little craft, and it's actually called O Jelly. Now don't get worried, we're not getting sticky, we're not making a big mess, we're not even making jelly or jam. We are making a jellyfish. So the body of the jellyfish, you're going to need a paper bowl or a styrofoam bowl or a paper plate or a styrofoam plate, really anything that you can just flip upside down and kind of have the circular shape of a jellyfish. I found this random Trolls plate in my apartment that is getting packed up right now. So I decided that I'm just gonna flip this one over and I can poke something through it to make the holes. Okay, so like I mentioned, we're gonna need something to pop the holes in the jellyfish's body. I would suggest maybe using a pen or a pencil. You could easily use a paper clip that's bent up because these things aren't very sharp and kids can kind of maneuver them a lot easier than using scissors or a knife. If you want to use scissors or a knife, I would suggest maybe if the child is a little younger than maybe 5 or 6, that you maybe just pre-cut these holes for them so that they can still participate in the activity and still make this beautiful jellyfish, but you don't have to worry about them getting hurt. Next, you're gonna need the tentacles of the jellyfish. So whatever you can find around your house really works for this. I found a random piece of garland, okay? So it's just like this. I'm just gonna take the pieces from this garland and use them as my jelly's tentacles. You could use beads, you could use yarn, you could use string, you could use streamers, you could use pieces of paper. Anything that you want to use, you're free to use if you have it at your house. That's the whole point of this activity, is to kind of reuse things that have lost their life, and so that we can just make something new, kind of use what we already have, and not create that major waste that we're struggling with as a world today. All right, and the last thing you're gonna need is something that you can use to decorate your beautiful jellyfish with. Now, because my plate on the side that I'll be using is plain and white, boring, you're gonna wanna find markers or crayons, maybe even paints that you can use to decorate your beautiful jellyfish. I'll be using Sharpie markers because that's all I have here right now. But if you have anything else around your house, feel free to use it because it is super fun and this is where your mind can run wild. Okay, so the setting of this activity, I would strongly suggest that you're at a table, a flat surface, somewhere that you can color comfortably, you can tie the strings of the jellyfish comfortably, you can really just do whatever you want, but also making sure that it is flat so that you don't ruin any of your artwork. Shall we get started? I think so. Alrighty, I guess it's now time to color our jellyfish's body before we start poking holes and attaching its limbs. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go in with my Sharpie markers because that's what I have, but feel free to take creative liberty here. If you wanna decorate your jellyfish however you wanna decorate it, go straight for it. That's the fun part of this exercise, is for you to color, for you to paint, for you to do whatever you wanna do with your jellyfish. Okay, as you can see, we have finished coloring our jellyfish's body. It's time to start poking those holes for those jelly tentacles. I don't really know if they're called tentacles, but we're just gonna go with it. And I'm gonna start by using the little the paper clip pin to start poking the holes for my actual pencil to enter a little easier. I just found that this kind of helps me just kind of maneuver and know where to poke them and all of that. So if you can see, I know it's kind of hard to see because I had to prop my phone up, but if you can see, just realize that I'm just poking it through and then I'm poking the pencil through and then I'm going ahead and moving on to the next hole. So it's pretty self-explanatory. If you have any questions, make sure to raise your hand. So I decided to do this craft because I actually wrote about it in my activity notebook and I just wanted to see it come to life. I have done this before when I've babysat and the kids really like it. I've also done it where you just glue like streamers. So there's a lot of interpretations you can take on this project, and that's why I like it so much. I also like it because it definitely works on these kinds of skills, like this skill of punching and the other skill of tying when we start to tie the ribbons and stuff onto our body. Also, like, it just takes a little bit of time, and I think that during this time that we're in this world, I think it's good to take a little bit of extra time to do stuff and to let those creative juices flow, because we don't often. We get very distracted, we get rushed, we do not our best work. And so that's why I kind of wanted to do this project, because it's just kind of fun and it's just lighthearted. And for craft, I loved craft. All right, so once our holes are all punched through on our plate or our bowl, it's time to start tying the tentacles. Now, I have already kind of laid out the 3 colors that I have on my garland in separate piles, just because it makes it a little easier for me. All right, so as you can see, I have laid out my different colors of like garland stuff, my like streamers. And I definitely suggest doing this because it will help the kids kind of mix up the colors that they choose. It will kind of make it look a little bit more exciting. And then you can just grab your suggested color and you just pop it through the hole, tie it up, and then keep going. So I'm going to show that process really quick. All right, let's get started with poking these holes through. Now I'm realizing that my recording skills were not that great at the beginning of this, so I deeply apologize, but basically you're just going to take your pieces of fabric or streamers or whatever your tentacles are, and you're just going to shove them through those holes that you have made on the top. So whether this be with your hands, you pull them through, your nails, or even your little paper clip tool you can use to press them through. Now this is exciting, so get creative with this too. How you lay them out, what colors you use, the mediums you use for your tentacles, all works. I'm just trying to show you how exactly you do it. So our jellyfish is slowly starting to come along. I forgot to mention that you want to make sure to poke a hole right in the middle so that you can hang either one of these. So you can hang your jellyfish, so you put this on the top instead of the bottom like this, or even like this little kebabber or whatever, so that you can hang it from somewhere and it's super cute and fun. Let me know if you have any questions while working on this. I know it is a little bit tricky to get a hang of, but once you got it, then it's kind of just relaxing to kind of do, like knitting. It is a really fun activity, and I hope that you enjoy it while we do it, because I am with my little trolls plate. Alrighty, for this next clip, I'm explaining how to pull through the tentacles with your little tool or with your fingers, and basically just explaining that it is working on fine motor skills if you're using your pincher finger and your thumb to pull them through the holes. I'm explaining this for far too long in the video, so I just wanted to do a quick little voiceover to just kind of explain why that's happening, and basically that I'm just pushing the streamer with my thumb up and then grabbing it with my thumb and my pointer finger and pulling through a little bit. If I'm using my tool, then I'm using my little tool. I'm lining the fabric up on the hole, and then I just push it through with my little tool, and that's all that is. Alrighty, so I have all of my streamers and my jellyfish. Now we just need something to hold the jellyfish. So I'm going to take the same paper clip that has been my trusty pal through this whole thing, and I'm going to completely bend it in outside E without the middle E part. And I'm going to take the smaller part, because these are so easy to maneuver, so I would put a nice piece of string, like a loop, and then tape it on the inside or tie it on the inside, and then bam, you have it, and it can hang wherever you want it to hang. I am limited to supplies right now, so that's why I'm using this. So I'm going to take the smaller end and I'm going to poke it right through my middle hole that I have already made. Now I have kind of like this loose little loosey-goosey. Now, can you see this metal part? It's sticking up. I'm just going to bend that down so that it goes around the plate. Alrighty. Now I have my jellyfish, and it's awesome, and it looks fun and spunky, and I used things all around my house, and I think that's awesome. Trying to use things that we don't normally think about. So have fun with this activity. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you try it out. That's what jellyfish is all about, right? Being a crazy.